How you doing? This is John Wayne Mercure, the Sonneteer from beautiful, beautiful Chandler, Arizona. You'd love it here. That's what you got to do. You got to maybe think about no more snow, no more frozen pipes, no more the car won't start. No, what are we going to do, honey? We got in a wreck on the freeway and it was a 15-car pileup. No, 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 no. We don't need to do that, all right? Come here to Chandler. You'd love it. Chandler means the Klieg light to the world. And I write this sonnet here, and I got to make a tribute and thank people. I'm wearing the captain's hat. Who is that? That's my hero, Captain Stanley King Arthur Blunt. He looked like Elvis Presley. He enlisted as a private, combat promotions to captain. So many decorations, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, the Army, the Cross of Honor. What is it called? Right below the Medal of Honor. He was in the Army Rangers, a parachute brigade, jumping out of planes. One night he rescued 22 lives. This is a tribute to him, my hero, Captain Stanley King Arthur Blunt. His dad was the mayor of Canyon City, Colorado. And his mother, Virginia Blunt, one of the nicest women I've ever met. And I've tried to get to Canyon City Veterans Organization, and I love those people, to honor Captain Stanley Blunt by bringing his sailboat that he sailed around the world. I mean, he got shot in the head with an AK-47, and the poor guy, he lived 50 more years. He used to look like Elvis, but no more. And I want to salute Captain James Larry Widger. He's my brother-in-law. I heard he's not doing too good. Well, his dad, Captain James Leo Widger, was against Rommel in North Africa. 200 men. He was responsible for their lives. It's a hard thing when you're responsible for 200 other human beings, whether they live or die, because of your leadership. And Captain James Leo Widger was my hero. I took him fishing like 100 times. Why? Because he allowed me to marry his beautiful daughter, Nancy Widger. And then also my uncle, William Gould, he got shot in the head in Germany in the First World War, right after the war in a training accident. But that's another story about his generosity. William Gould, my uncle. I've got his coffin flag, 9 by 12, that was on his coffin. I have it on my ceiling to remember him, and his picture up there. Why? Because these guys go over there and they sacrifice everything, and they come back cut up and no legs and burns and scarred, and they got mental problems because they can't get out of their mind what they saw. Charlie Schultz, he was a machine gunner in World War II, and he had so many terrible things in front of him and had to do terrible things. And when he got back, all he wanted to do was write about little kids. And he called it Little Folks. But in 1951, he changed it to Peanuts. And it's still on papers everywhere. We have to pay tribute to these people. And that's what I'm doing with this sonnet. Because when you get old, you got to stick up for things. It's the righteous against the wicked. And you veterans know that better than anybody. We have to be righteous. We have to stand up. And that's what this sonnet is about. This is about a Viking king. And this Viking king he's what you see in the movies, a Viking king and how he's going to die. This is his funeral. And this is how we have to live life. And the name of this sonnet, sonnet number 1317. The name of the sonnet is the Viking King Balder the Gold. That's the name of the Viking king. A fabulous poet. In this poem, I have to honor him. This fabulous poem, Sensei, That's Me. I read this poem when I was 8 years old, just a little kid. I read this. My dad got me this encyclopedia, and I was reading an encyclopedia when I was 8. Why? Because I wanted to know. I wanted to know. And I was 8 years old when I read this beautiful, beautiful poem about the marvelous poetic talent of Sir Charles Mackay. And I always try to give people credit for the dates of their lives. He was born in 1814. He died in 1889. Sir Charles Mackay, he wrote this poem. I'm trying to give him credit. Why? Because now at age 77, I'm reading this masterpiece once again with much keener insight. I read it when I was 8, and I hear it 7 years later, and I'm reading it again. How much more pungent and meaningful are words that have bite, words that bite you, words enshrining King Balder's bravery, King Balder the Bold, with incredible bravery his whole life, swords and shields clashing, ancient brave warriors, their chivalry, seafaring courage to go out to sea to explore it out of sight, distant shores. Think of the courage that took to be on an ocean and you're leaving the side of the shore and you don't have a compass. You have to go by the stars. And what about storms? And what about getting drowned? And the incredible courage it took for the Vikings to do that? Daring sailors, these Vikings, valiant, brave beyond measure. King Balder's true glory. King Balder was old and worn out with grievous battle wounds. His health was fading fast. Bold King Balder the Magnificent. He goes out, he dies with real class. Dying as he always lived. Fighting on to victory no matter what it takes. Relying on steel nerves to die befitting a fiery, kingly comet. Down to the sea in his Viking ship scarred by countless battles before. King Balder has his crown on his head. He's got his trusty sword and trusty shield. He's going to meet God's angels. Multitudes are cheering him on, revering him, carrying him to the seashore. Woods aflame below deck. The ship's on fire as Balder's ship flies free once again. Sails billowing swift, racing out to sea. Balder's final destiny. Sailing again in seas that King Balder loved. Oceans of mysteries. Tasting sweet salt air. So sweet, salt air. Huge waves spur King Balder faster on in his ship, thirsting for every moment of life, slipping away into fathoms in the depths. Fire burning his ship timbers, the Viking king's glorious funeral. Choirs of Viking angels follow with pride King Balder's battle. Battling the flames, embracing the pain, getting burned to death, relishing the challenge. Fighting as King Balder always fought on. Courage to the end, courage to the last breath. Standing straight as the flames devoured his intrepid nobility. Going to Valhalla to be with kings and warriors earned nobility. Burning to death, enduring monstrous pain like ancient champions, showing us all how a real man dies, a fearless king of action. Fighting as King Balder always fought, courageous to the very end, courageous to the last breath, showing us all how a real man dies. Repeat it, how a real man dies, a fearless king of action. William Butler Yeats, he said it better than I can, and I want to give him credit. William Butler Yeats, one of the greatest poets that ever lived. Such men as King Balder, such men as you veterans out there, has come to death proud and open-eyed, laughing to the tomb. Because you guys have overcome it. Incredible pain as they died, all these veterans, and they have stories to tell, and they got to stand up. It's the righteous against the wicked. And I can't write like this man can write, but I'm going to read the original. It's really a good original, or I wouldn't take the time to. You got to listen. Listen to him. This is the Sea King's burial, the Viking King's burial. My strength is failing fast, said the Sea King to his men. I shall never sail the seas like a conqueror again. But while yet a single drop remains of my lifeblood in my veins, raise, oh raise me from my bed. Put the crown upon my head. Put my good sword in my hand, and so lead me to the strand where my ship at anchor rides steadily. If I cannot end my life in the crimson battle strife, let me die as I have lived on the sea. They raised King Balder up. They put his crown upon his head. They've sheathed his limbs in chainmail, and the purple over him spread. And amid the greeting rude of the gathering multitude, borne him slowly to the shore, all the energy of yore from his dim eyes flashing forth, old sea lion of the north, as he looked upon his sea, on his ship, riding free, and on his forehead pale, felt the cold, refreshing gale, and heard the welcome sound of the sea. They have borne him to the ship with a slow and solemn tread. They have placed him on the deck with his crown upon his head. Where he sat is on a throne, and they've left him there all alone, with his anchor ready weighed, and his snowy sails displayed to the favoring wind once more, blowing freshly from the shore. And have bidden him farewell, farewell, tenderly, saying, King of mighty men, King Balder the Great, the bold, we shall meet thee yet again in Valhalla with the monarchs of the sea. Underneath him in the hold, they had placed the lighted brand, and the fire was burning slow as a vessel from the land, like a staghound from the slips, darted forth from out of the ships. There was music in her sail as he swelled before the gale, and a dashing at her prow as it cleft the waves below, and the good ship sped along, gliding free. And as on many a battle morning in her time she had been born, the ship to struggle, to conquer on the sea. And the king, with sudden strength, started up and paced the deck with his good sword for his staff and his robe around his neck. Once alone he raised his hand to the people of the land, and with shout and monstrous joy, once again they made reply, till the loud and exulting cheer sounded faintly on his ear, for the gale was over him, blowing fresh and free. And before yet an hour had passed, he was driven before the blast, and the storm was on his path on the sea. So blow, you tempest, blow, and my spirit shall not quail. I have fought with many a foe, I have weathered many a gale, and in this hour of death, before I yield my fleeting breath, before the fire now burning slow shall come rushing from below, and its worn and wasted frame be devoted to the flames, I will raise my voice in triumph, singing free. To the great All-Father's home, I am driving through the foam. I am sailing to Valhalla, to heaven over the sea. So blow, ye stormy winds, and ye flames ascend on high. An easy idle bed, let the slave and coward die. But give me the driving keel, the clang of shields and flashing steel, on my foot on foreign ground, with my enemies all around. Happy, happy, thus I yield, on the deck or in the field, my last breath, shouting on to victory. But since this had been denied me, they shall say that I have died, old man, king, without flinching, like a monarch of the sea. And Balder spoke no more, and no sound escaped his lip, and he looked, yet scarcely saw the destruction of his ship, burning all around him, nor the fleet sparks mounting high, nor the glare upon the sky. He scarcely heard the billows dash, nor the burning timbers crash. He scarcely felt the scorching heat that was gathering at his feet, nor the fiercest flames mounting over him greedily. But life was in him yet, and the courage yet to forget all his pain in his triumph on the sea. Once again a cry arose, half of anguish, half of pride, as he sprang upon his feet, with the flames on every side. I am, another name for God, I am coming, said the king, where the swords and bucklers ring, where the warrior lives again, where the souls of mighty men and the weary find repose and rest eternally, and the red wine ever flows. I am God's name. I am coming, great All-Father, unto thee, unto Odin, unto Thor, unto Allah, unto God, and the strong, true hearts of yore. I am God's name. I'm coming to Valhalla, to heaven, to God, to thee over the sea. And this is beautiful, and I'll tell you why. I read this before, William Butler Yeats. That's you veterans out there. Such men as you, that come proud, open-eyed, and laughing to the tomb. William Butler Yeats, you fight to the end, to the last breath, for righteousness. You know what's right and what's wrong. There's a lot of wicked things going on in this country right now. You veterans, you got to help me. You got to help Stan Blunt. You got to help my Uncle William Gould getting shot in the head, all right? You got to help Captain James Leo Widger, man. His ears were blown out. All of the artillery and all, and watching his men get murdered. He couldn't take it, and you can't take it either, but you got to fight for righteousness. Don't give up. It's just like King Balder. He's going to fight to the end. I'll tell you why. Here's the final message, all right? The fire is so bad, it's so bad you can't take it, but at the end of the fire, the only thing left is the gold of your soul, because everything else, all the wicked has been burned away. Only the gold of your soul is left, and that's worth fighting for. I'm asking you, please help Donald Trump. Help capitalism. Capitalism means you get paid for your talents. All right? You get to keep your firearms. George Washington said righteous people, a free people, should be armed. We got to be able to defend ourselves. They want to cancel the police department. Come on, man. They double the police and the sheriff's budgets. Do that. We have to have law and order. That's a Constitution. The Bill of Rights are holy writs, and people are making fun of them. They never even read them. You can't ask a person, what are the 5 things guaranteed by the First Amendment? They can't grasp it. They can't grasp it, that it's guaranteed. Grievance, religion, assembly, speech, and press, guaranteed, shall not be abridged. And that's what I'm fighting for here. The Viking King's burial. How do you want to go out like wussies, sitting on the couch drinking beer, watching TV, watching stupid sports? They won't even stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I refuse to watch sports anymore. They won't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, I know people that have died for that flag. I know my 5th grade teacher, he was emaciated. He looked like Clark Gable, but he was so skinny. Why? Because he'd been in a Japanese prison camp for over a year. And he looked like a skeleton. He was my 5th grade teacher. And what? And they won't stand for the flag? Well, he fought for that flag. And you got to stand up. All you veterans, I'm begging you on my hands and knees. All right, please help give the memory of the veterans before you and the veterans now. We got to be vocal. We got to stand up for righteousness. Capitalism means you get paid for your talents. Communism, and they'll give you what you need. And we'll decide what you need. They take everything. And we're under sale with a damn communist. And let's call them what they are. Let's call black racists for what they are. The Constitution's for them too. If they just read it, read the 14th Amendment. Nobody even knows what that is. Okay, equal protection of the law, due process. All right? You got to understand it's for everybody, and we got to fight for that. And we can't give up. Right now, this election is so critical. The whole people are watching this. Why? We got to vote for Trump. Trump, capitalism, all right? Capitalism, getting paid for your talents, low taxes, strong military, a strong border. We got to make our own products. We can't get all our damn products from China. They're making our pharmaceuticals. They got us by the throat. Come on, man. We got to have American jobs here. And I'm begging you, this year, this Sea King's burial, how do you want to go out bold through the fire so the only thing that's left of the gold of your soul? Well, you got to earn it. I'm an old man, but I'm still trying hard. Inside, I'm 25 years old, but now I'm old. But life has been so wonderful, and I hope yours has been too. But we got to help each other, okay? All you veterans, I'm begging you, please, please, get out and vote. Get your neighbors to vote. Donald Trump, please. Capitalism, getting paid for your talents. God bless you. Thank you for listening.